Hey everyone, I'm Tanisha. Welcome to my channel, The Monarch Wise Woman. The purpose of this channel is to help the wise ones, also known as witches, remember their power and remember who they are. So, on to today's topic. And I've done a lot of videos about this topic in the past, and it's about spirituality, all of spirituality being labeled as evil, and then the conversion from that to religion. I've done a lot on this topic because I'm really passionate about the spread of misinformation because of what that's caused in the past. So many evil atrocities were committed, cultures wiped out, information wiped out due to these ignorant beliefs. Who the wise ones are, it's my belief that we are the guardians and the protectors of Mother Earth and all her children. So with that belief, I have a belief that it's my responsibility to come against anything that could harm Mother Earth or her children, and this misinformation in the past has done exactly that. So it's not just spirituality being attacked anymore. It is divine feminine energy specifically being attacked. There was a video that I come across that was saying womb healings, kundalini, divine feminine, all of it is evil because it's about service to self, and because it opens up doorways to demons. So I want to clarify from my experience what's actually happening here. Let's first address the information that these practices open up doorways to demons. This is not true. What's actually happening is the demons, spirits that you're seeing have always been around, because the spiritual is always interacting with the physical. The only difference is now you have opened your third eye, so you are able to see it. It does not stop being there just because you can't see it and you can't sense it anymore. It is always here. Then when you get scared of it and you run to religion and you stop doing any of it and you shut your third eye, you can no longer see it. As for the information that it's evil demons that it's opening up a doorway to, I don't believe this is always the case. Sometimes, yes, you can be opening your third eye and seeing negative, harmful entities that have always been around manipulating, but now you're aware of them, which when you think about it is actually a good thing, because if you're aware of them, you can do something about it. But the other spirits that you're probably encountering are daemons or deities. Now, I've done a whole video on different types of demonic or daemonic entities and what they are. There are a lot of darker entities on the occult path, darker deities. I do not mean evil, I mean dark, which is not always evil. Dark is service to self, and that's what they're here to help you with. They are a very different energy than the love and light energy that you're probably used to, because they are a tough, no nonsense, very strong kind of energy that you're going to feel. And if you've never been in the presence of those deities before, I understand it could be quite scary and cause people to mislabel it as evil. Want to know a little bit more about what daemons or deities are here to help us with? I did a video that was about demons and demonic entities specifically, and I'll link that in the description below. Now let's address the service to self portion of this, and how service to self specifically is being called evil. Now, it's my belief that we need both a balance of service to self and service to others. And here is why. So I'm going to give you a scenario and then two choices. The scenario is a man approaches you, but your divine feminine energy, your intuition, which is part of that, is telling you something isn't right with this man. He asks you if you can come over to his car with him, and that is not around any people. You're currently around people. And he asks you if you can help him bring his stuff to that car. Now, here's the choice. Choice one, if you're all about service to others and not about service to self at all, and you believe that anything divine feminine intuition is evil, here's what's going to happen. You're going to say, yes, I'll help you bring your things to your car, even though your intuition is telling you there's something wrong here. But you're all about service to others, right? Because service to self is evil. So you think it would be mean and not right and not God's way if you didn't help this man. What's the result of that choice? He turns out to be a serial unaliver. He kidnaps you and he ends your life. I'm sorry if that was brutal, but that's the truth of the physical reality that we live in. It is not all evil like that, but we know there are evil people in this world. And so if you forsake your service to self in that scenario, the outcome is not good. I don't say this to put you in a state of fear. I say this because I want you to keep yourself safe. And when you're listening to your intuition, you don't have to live in a state of fear. You can do what you want to do because that little gut feeling, that little voice will always be there to tell you when something isn't right. Scenario 2, you trust and embrace your divine feminine energy. You trust and embrace your intuition and your guidance. When the man asks you to help him bring this stuff to his car, and your intuition tells you something is not right, because you are about protecting yourself and service to self as well as service to others, you say no. You get in your car, you drive away, and you live to see another day. Now, obviously, service to self at the expense of others and while harming others is evil. But this is not what the divine feminine energy is. And the divine feminine energy can also be about service to others as well, because there is both a dark, rageful, wild side to the divine feminine and a light, soft, loving, nurturing side. I actually had this conversation with a lady I know in relation to a intuitive gut feeling I was getting about a certain man the other day. And I also want to make it clear, we get these gut feelings about women as well, not just men. But in this case, it was a man. And she said to me, yes, us women are very intuitive. And I said, yes, we have to be to keep ourselves safe. Okay? So why would you believe that God wouldn't have given you divine feminine energy and intuition as a woman? I've gotten really passionate about this because this is putting us so far backwards in what the feminine energy has achieved on this planet currently, in being able to have freedom and speak out and have choices and be who we want to be. And I don't understand why fellow women would push this misinformation and forsake the divine feminine, Mother Earth, and other women in this world by appealing to the patriarchy. Think the misinformation that you're spreading isn't harmful, let me ask you this. How would you feel if I said to you, no, actually, everything that you're practicing now with religion is evil, you're being deceived, what you're doing is evil? How would that make you feel? If I said everyone that practices that religion is evil and is doing evil, but thinking they're doing good. What do you think that would do if enough of us were to push that misinformation about religion? It would probably result in violence and harm towards a particular group, just like it did in the past. If you've been saved by Jesus and you now believe that everything spiritual was evil and religion is love and light, let me say something to you. When you read that Bible, when you look at history and you see what atrocities have been committed in the name of that religion, I can assure you what you are going to read, what you are going to see is not all love and light. Because nothing in this world is. There's beauty in this world, like there's rainbows, there's butterflies, there's also predators and prey. Nothing is love and light. Nothing is all love and light. It is a mixture of both. And you're doing yourself a disservice by not learning about darkness and how to alchemize that, how to understand that, how to come against that if you need to, how to control your inner demons, how to stand up to the outside demons. You are not all of a sudden better than everyone just because you are now religious, because that religion has its own demons. And that's the note that I'm going to leave this on. So apologies if that was triggering, if that was brutal. It's sometimes hard for me to deliver these messages, but I have to, because for as long as I'm alive, I'm not going to sit back and keep silent when misinformation about the wise ones or witches is being spread once again. I am not going to sit back and let history repeat itself. Now, on to the topic of some services that I offer. So, on my Patreon, I offer both a protection spell and a generational curse breaking spell, and I will put the link to my Patreon in the description below if you're interested in those services. I also have a side hustle where I do energy cleansings and animal card guidance readings. So if you're interested in those services, I will also link those down below. And I just want to advise something very quickly that I've come across when doing energy cleansing. I've come across oftentimes people actually thinking what is in their home is demons, but it's actually deities or daemons that are reaching out to them to work with them. Now, of course, it's up to them. Oh, look, we've got a rainbow across the screen. That's funny because I was just talking about rainbows. Sorry, that was like my brain just being like, oh, something pretty. So what I've come across is that it is deities that are from cultures that they may have had past lives in, or, they may have ancestors that followed those practices or those cultures reaching out to them. But because there's been so much misinformation spread about it, they're thinking that it's evil. And so as part of my energy cleansings, it's not just going to be about cleansing the energy away anymore, but understanding what the energy actually is and giving you appropriate advice on that. So, thank you so much for watching, especially if you're here with me at the end. If you feel as passionate as I do about stopping this spread of misinformation and you have learnt quite a bit on your path as a wise one or a witch, I'd love to hear what you've learned in the comments below. If you could share this video around so we can get this message to as many people as possible, or like the video, or if you want to receive updates about more videos in the future, hit the notification bell. Alright, have a lovely day or night wherever you are.